Okay, so welcome guys once again to my channel, and in this video we'll be doing some analysis for trades on this pair for this week. Okay, the AUD USD, GP USD, gold, USD JPY, Euro JPY, and Euro USD. So guys, let's dive right in. Looking at last week analysis, if you followed me, okay, you will recall that I said I was biased to the downside, okay, for gold. And guys, price had gotten to that zone, the 1656 zone. Okay, that price was executed already, so we are done with that. The target was met at that point and exceeded. So right now, where we are right now, guys, I am seeing something like a divergence right here, giving me an information that there could be an upward movement, like a corrective. There could be a corrective move upwards, and after that corrective move, guys, I still want to see the market, come down. Price might get to this point once again. I still want to see the price coming down eventually on gold. So this could be a brief pullback and then a continuation downward. So I am still biased to the downside. Looking at the bigger time frame, okay, I'm seeing that price could pull back up and then come down, okay, to this point where we have this horizontal box, this rectangle box. Okay, so considering that there is a divergence, there was a divergence here, okay, last week, 2 weeks ago, I spotted this, and then the market went up, okay, as expected. And so the same thing now is happening here, another divergence spotted here. But it is not every time we spot divergence that it actually goes as expected. Sometimes it could just take a short movement, a corrective movement, and then continue to come back, okay, back to where it was expected. So I expect a corrective movement to any of this zone here, anywhere around here, and then I expect price to still continue its move downwards to this point. And then guys, when price gets to this point, okay, I will be looking out for a sell position, except price breaks out of it and does a retest. So guys, once price approaches this zone, if it does approach this zone by this week, guys, we should be looking forward to buy positions on gold. But until we get there, for now, my bias is to the downside, okay, on gold. After a corrective structure upwards here, I'm expecting gold to continue a sell down to this point, guys. So having said that, so like I said, the signal for gold last week played out successfully, and so we're happy about that. Okay, it is not every analysis you see that is going to actually play out the way it is. So you must always have your trading plan, okay, on ground, your entry and exit strategy, your proper risk management, because sometimes the market will not go the way you expect them to go. Technically, you could analyze a trade, and then fundamental factors and sentimental factors could come in and play, and then change the course of what you had expected to see in market. So guys, don't just jump right in because I say so. Look out for other indications, okay, to further confirm the move. Okay, so right now let's move over to the AUD USD. So guys, for the AUD USD, okay, you can see that there have been a stretch in the market, and like I will always say, I always like to pay attention to structures like this. I am seeing a divergence as well, okay, in this pair, and I don't want to ignore it. So seeing that price was doing a lower low, and on the MACD was beginning a higher high, so I expected that price was going to pull back, which it did. Price pulled back, and then right now I am still expecting something to happen at this zone. Okay, I still expect that price is going to pull back to this zone if it gets to this point here, and so it is actually going to pull back to this point here, okay, to this point. It might pull back to this point and range back downwards, okay, or it could break this point and continue downwards. There are two things involved. This could happen or this could happen. And now why I am biased to the upside for AUD USD is because looking at the daily chart, sorry guys, looking at the daily charts right here, we can see right here that price had stretched out of this zone. Like I will always say, like I will always tell my students in mentorship, that whenever they see something like this happen, there is a tendency that price is going to have to do a rubber band effect back to that zone, somewhere close, or somewhere at least half of that movement should be expected. So I'm not even talking about all of that movement, okay? I'm just expecting price to pull back at least to this point. So I expect this movement to happen this week, okay? I expect this movement to the upside to happen this week. Actually, I am not very comfortable with any sell setup, okay, because right now it seems like the AUD USD has lost with momentum or will lose its momentum. As long as price stays above this zone, I expect price to pull back to this zone, at least for the week we have just entered. So guys, look out for buy setups. I don't encourage sell setups, but except the sell setups are clear after a corrective move. After we have a corrective move back to at least this zone, any sell setup can be considered. But if price comes and bounces off this zone and gives you a bullish signal, that is my bias for the week. I am bullish on AUD USD eventually for the week, guys. So that is it. It is either market is going to range to this point and range back and then go back up, or it will just come down, bounce off this zone and then go up. So I am biased to the upside, guys. Please follow your own rules, okay? You don't have to agree with what I have spotted out, but I have a reason for spotting that out and I've explained. I expect this price to pull back up this week. I really expect price to pull back up this week. I don't expect price to go beyond where it is right now, and even if it does, it's not going to go far from here. So look out for your buy setups on this pair, guys. Look out for your buy setup on this pair. So that's my bias for AUD USD. So for the GBP USD pair, okay, price did a little movement backwards again after this divergence was spotted here. Okay, price decided to pull back and I will see that as a corrective structure, okay, as a corrective structure back upwards. But I still see this price coming downwards, okay, this week. I still expect pound to continue its downward movement, at least something like this is expected, okay, back to this point or down to this point eventually. And anywhere around this zone, guys, price could do this, could pull back up and go back up. So but for this week, I am still biased to the downside, any of these zones here. And until price gets to any of these zones, I am not ready for a buy setup until that buy setup is clear. So guys, I am still biased to the downside on GBP USD. I am still biased to the downside. So I think you guys should be out for more sell opportunity. Okay. But if price breaks out of this zone, if price eventually comes and breaks out of this previous resistance, support and resistance zone, then it means that we should be expecting the price to go upwards, okay, to change direction and go upward further. We'll do this and then keep going up. But for now, I still see these markets do this downwards and even further. So I am still biased to the downside on GBP USD, guys. So let's go to the Euro USD. The Euro USD, I am still biased to the downside as well. As you can see, I still have my marked zone. So price came to this point last week, but didn't get to the actual take profit zone, but very close to it. So this is what I expected to happen in this market last week. So market actually delivered, went up as expected and then began to drop, guys. So check the previous video, you'll see this. So our analysis on gold was correct, and that on Euro USD is still in progress. GPUSD, the corrective move was a bit bigger than expected, wider than expected. So I am still that biased to the downside. And then once price gets to this point, guys, I will be looking out for buying opportunities in the market, except and otherwise price breaks out of this zone, okay, breaks out and does a retest, then we'll continue downwards. But for now, I am biased to the downside. And if, okay, let us take a look at the daily time frame. We can see that on the daily time frame, price is still trending downwards, okay. And let's see the weekly time frame. Price has been trending downwards. In fact, I have many reasons to believe that soon, except for other fundamental factors, soon price should be doing a major pullback, okay. All the USD, the XXX USD pairs would need to have this movement eventually in the coming weeks ahead. So but for this week, looking at what weekly chart is showing me, I think daily is preparing itself to begin to go upwards. So if price comes down to this point, if price comes down to any of these points right here or here, I will be expecting price to pull back up, guys. That is my expectation. That's my expectation, guys. I expect price to pull back up once it comes to any of this zone here or here. So for now, price still has a little downward movement to do before it goes up, guys. That is my bias for the week. It will have to come down, okay, to this point and then begin to pull back upward. So that's my bias for Euro USD. And for Euro JPY, okay, I was wrong with this analysis actually, because looking at where price was last week, I had earlier mentioned that it was actually an uptrend, but I didn't get this corrective structure right. I actually said price was going to pull back. You can see that price pulled back to where I expected it to, and even exceeded it and kept going further up, okay. But I am still seeing a possibility of price doing this, of price getting here and still correcting back to at least where you have this marked out, because it is in line with the trend, the bullish trend line as well. So I still expect price to get back to at least this zone here before it goes back up or breaks and continue to go down. So guys, I am still biased to the downside. I'm still biased to the downside, guys. So you have to look out for opportunities down. So but if price eventually breaks out of this zone, okay, this marked zone, then it means that price could continue to go up. But for this week, I want to see this happen, else I am not taking any trade until I see a corrective structure. I am not going to resume the buy. I am out, I am off this market for this week until it gives me what I am looking at for, and that is a corrective structure downwards. That is what I'm looking out for, guys. On USD JPY, okay, the JPY pairs, the XXX JPY pairs are actually strong to the upside, okay. They are all doing a bullish run actually. So the divergence I spotted here last week failed, okay. The conditions actually was not complete, was not properly met. So price bounced off, okay, the dynamic support and resistance zone 50 and continue going back up. But guys, for this week, I expect price to pull back to somewhere around this zone. I actually expect price to do that, pull back at least to this zone. If you can see on this chart, you can understand what I'm saying, that price has been pulling upward and upward for a long time now, and so it will only be normal technically for price to do that. So looking at where it is right now, I don't want to see price break above that zone. But if price does break above that zone, I will not be in that trade. I will not be buying this trade because it is really exhausted. I want to believe that price is exhausted as where it is. I cannot join this trend for now until I see a corrective structure downwards, at least a corrective structure that could take this form, downwards, either to this point or to this point, and then that is when I can be looking out for more buys to the upside. But for now I am biased to the downside for now. So guys, please also check and be sure that you are okay with this setup before you take any decision. Don't just jump in. Be sure you are okay with it. Carry out your own analysis as well, and be careful. Use proper lot size, use proper risk management, put your stop loss in order and your take profit in order, because the market will always be right. So that is it for USDJPY. I expect a downward movement, not too long, but a corrective structure to the downside before it goes back up, if it really wants to go back up. So that is it for USDJPY. And for the dollar index, let us look at what the index is actually saying. Okay, where price is, so we can see what price is doing in the dollar index. Okay, first of all, I am spotting a divergence in this market, and normally when you see a divergence in the market, like I said, the divergence informs you of a possible loss in momentum towards that direction. So I will be expecting price to respect this zone for this week and at least drop downwards for a while, except fundamentally this structure gets broken. Okay, fundamentally, and this trend and the US and the United States dollar keeps gaining more strength to go up, then it means we are going to see more upside to dollar index. But for now, I am actually biased to the downside. So anywhere around this zone is, if price presents a bearish move, guys, get into it and at least take out some 200 to 300 pips around here and you'll be fine. So I am biased to the downside on dollar, except price breaks out of this zone. I am biased to the downside. Please get that right. I am not saying that you should jump in. Like I've always said, after an analysis like this, you still have your discretion. You must factor in what you also see in the market and what you consider. Every trader does not see the market the same way, but this is what I have seen for now. But in the course of the week, as the market unveils itself, I might have a change of mind based on what structure the market is showing me. But for now, this is what I expect, that the market will do a correction back to any of these zones right here. Price should do a correction back to any of these zones right here. So I'm trying to be fast so that we don't have too much, okay, we don't burn too much time on this. And you can see this as well. There was a divergence here, and I expect the divergence to take price at least to this level before any other thing happens. So I am biased to the downside for dollar this week, except and otherwise fundamentally things have to go the other way, and so you will have to be looking out for more buys, more opportunities to buy. Okay, but for now I'm biased to the downside for dollar. So we have basically handled every pair on our list. So for GBP USD, I am biased to the downside still. For AUD USD, even though being the same, having the same pair, the XXX USD pair, I expect it to come down further. Okay, but I am not going to be taking that downwards movement. I am only looking out for buy opportunities in this market, because that is what the market is present. That's the information I'm getting for this very pair. I expect it to go up to an extent. The downside is not going to be much. Going down from here is really not going to be much, even though price can actually get here and begin to come further, except that happens. And then if this happens, the next move is going to be massive. So guys, I am still biased to the upside for next week. Okay guys, so